everyone. Welcome to Call to Action Live this Saturday night. Oh my gosh, I am super stoked for this episode. This is going to be fantastic. We have some interesting people to talk to, which I will get into that in a little bit. But introducing to my right, this amazing co-panelist who I always love to get to talk to and hang out with is my dear Alex. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've been just hanging out today and chatting up with some potential rookies for the season. So I'm pretty excited about today. There's a lot to dive into, so it's exciting.
There is a lot. There is so much to talk about. I am super excited. Also, real quick, I want to talk about Alex. What's this thing that you've been doing in our Patreon Discord? There's been a challenge about movies I've been seeing pop up.
Okay.
I want to hear more about that.
Guys, if you are not familiar, what was I like? I'm not in charge of Patreon or anything like that, but I jokingly ended up starting this call to action movie challenge, essentially, where we challenge other people that are patrons to watch movies outside our comfort zone. So Drew and I hosted this show called So Not Biased, where we kind of challenge each other to watch movies outside of our comfort zone and really kind of try something new. And I'm applying that. I kind of introduced that mindset into a challenge because there's so many movies that these guys have been talking about that I had never even heard of. And so I'm pretty excited. We've been challenging each other to watch these movies, and you have to issue them publicly on Twitter, some kind of social, and be like, and every time you complete a challenge, you can give 2 challenges out. And I'm involved. Darren's over in the chat. Alan's involved. I mean, all these awesome people are involved. So that's something you really want to try doing. Definitely check it out on the Patreon.
Yeah, join our Patreon, guys. That perk. I mean, that wasn't even a perk we planned on. We're like, we'll just go to Discord and slide this thing up.
It just actually happened. It's super fun. It's like low key one of my favorite parts of the day when I'm like hanging out.
So cool, so cool. All right. Well, to start off for tonight, we do have some guests. We're going to start off by introducing an advocate, an agent. I want to find out more about what his actual position is when we get him on the screen. We have Justin the Juice. How are you doing tonight, Justin?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for finally having me. I know I would like to apologize for dodging all the texts and calls in the past to be on this show. You know, they come in once a week. I once had PLD on mute for 2 months just to avoid some of the constant asking to be on this show. But I finally have something that has me very worthwhile that I would like to debut here tonight. And there wouldn't be a better show to do it.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have you for sure. Like, we've been working on this for like, even before they even talked about the draft, we're like, we need to get the Juice on here. And it's hard getting back. It's hard getting in touch with you, man.
He's very in demand, to put it lightly. Am I right or am I wrong, Justin? Is that it?
I think you're right.
All right, so
mute PLD. Let's mute PLD for
mute
everyone.
PLD.
He's unmuted now.
We'll get that All right, so what do you have in store for us this evening? We're excited. Yes. You told us you had somebody you wanted us to see and look at, and we're here to learn.
So I found this guy. I found him one time I was walking down the road. I found him taking lunch money from a couple of kids and thought, this is my kind of guy. I was like, this is a guy I need to be friends with. So I befriended him, and it's been years and years now. And so he finally was like, I should probably get into this movie trivia thing or whatever that you watch. He's like, I've seen a Star Wars movie or 3. And he's ready. I mean, he knows it all. He's one of the best trivia minds that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think he's ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. Well, we are excited to get to meet him and find out more about him and see why he is such a great pick for this draft season. So let me get ready to pull him on. Here we go.
Oh boy. I told him.
Where is he?
9:30 Central Time. I told him. He's probably down in the back alley again.
Justin, the thing is, as an agent, dude, I mean, you've really got to amp up the professionalism in this relationship because I don't know if it's going to cut it, okay?
I was telling you. I've been telling you for the past few weeks now. I know you want me to be your new touring guitarist in replacement of Zach Wilde.
He's talking about Ozzy?
I'm at that level, but I told you, I don't take anything less than 7 figures, and here we are. You're still calling me up. You're too old for this now, man.
For so cheap, 7 figures?
Bigger fish to fry. So here I am.
Do better.
I would have got him.
Right? So I'm gonna hang up and go. I'm gonna go into the big leagues. All right. So I'll see you later. Bye. man, they just don't give you any time anymore.
That's facts.
Cannot relate.
Totally relate.
All right. Well, it seems that was a very important call, but I'm glad we were able to get you on this evening. So yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Your agent finally answered all of our emails and all of our texts and stuff. So we're very touched that you actually gave us had a ability to give us some time this evening. So thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome.
All right. Well, first question I would like to ask, since this is what our show is about, is Schmoedown. So how did you discover Schmoedown? We got a little bit of an info from Justin, but like, how'd you come across it?
I came across Schmoedown. Well, first off, I've came across Schmoedown a couple years ago. Actually, it's actually way back around a little after the Force Awakens came out, when everything was going big over at Collider and all that. You know, Justin and I were hanging out a lot about that, and Justin's like, "Dude, there's this thing called Schmoedown movie show." It actually goes back farther than that. And Justin made this call and made everybody die in their seats laughing, and ever since that, I've been hooked. So, yeah. That was the inception, but ever since that, I've seen a bunch of matches, spectaculars, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, love it.
Awesome. And it seems like you're a very busy man. You got very important calls to take. What made you decide that this is something you wanted to spend the time auditioning for and possibly competing in?
The reason why is for this reason. The Schmoedown has the potential for greatness. You hear that song all the time, the greatest of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been watching it, and yes, there are some phenomenal players. But I want to bring the Schmoedown to a level that has not been seen before. I want to not only be great, I've always been great. I want to be recognized as great. That is why I am here.
I'm calling it.
Any more than that?
I'm calling it. The Gucci is gonna want the juice, man. That's what he's gonna want. Calling it here, guys.
Gucci, if you are watching, let me tell you this. I've been looking for this for a while. You might be looking for me in a little while. Here I am.
Ooh.
Ooh. Very cool. All right, so
Interesting pitch. Mm-hmm.
So you're very into Schmoedown now. You're getting into wanting to be a part of this community. It sounds like you've definitely got the attitude to be able to stand up against some of these more seasoned pros and things like that. What divisions are you thinking about wanting to play in if you were drafted?
Right now, I am currently listed with the Inner Geekdom and Star Wars divisions. The Star Wars division I have watched very, very, very closely, especially since Star Wars Celebration 2019. I had the privilege of actually meeting some of the competitors when I was there. And, that's Star Wars is my thing. It really is. Inner Geekdom also, I can't just be a nerd of one thing. I have to wear many hats. But ultimately, that's definitely my niche right there. I actually just got done watching New Hope. Not even kidding. So.
Very cool. Yeah, those divisions are definitely very, honestly, kind of cutthroat with the amount of knowledge you have to have and like what you have to get to the point to be able to compete in there. Have you started training, studying anything special now, knowing that you are on the draft list and you've got some pretty stiff competition if you are drafted?
Well, once I heard that there was open auditions in the draft list, I really started cracking down, watching those movies, really writing it down. The only thing that I am trying to keep track of is that I do not put all of my eggs in one basket. Because the truth of the matter is, if I am drafted into one thing and I've been studying, let's say, Star Wars for all this amount of time, and then I'm drafted into Inner Geekdom, which I'm fully willing to play. If I'm drafted into Inner Geekdom, I already put my eggs into one basket. When the Inner Geekdom matches, not to toot my own horn, I already know I can handle almost all the Star Wars questions that they put forth. So.
I got a quick question for you, Jacob. Being a Star Wars man. Actually, I think everyone on the screen except me is a Star Wars person. I gotta know.
Never.
When it comes to Schmoedown, a lot of the best competitors, especially in Geekdom, side very strongly with being a Jedi, such as Alex Damon, Scrimshaw. But we also have some competitors are definitely pretty Sith Lord types. Brayden Hanna, for example. So, realistically, where do you kind of see yourself ending up when it comes to some of these characters?
I am neither Sith nor am I a Jedi. I am one thing. I am a prize fighter. That would make me a bounty hunter. That is what I am. I would not have shown up if there was not a prize to win.
That's very cool. I think that's definitely
Yeah,
something the Star Wars League could use because it is very much a Sith versus Jedi dynamic. Maybe it needs some bounty hunter thrown in there to liven things up. I mean, that saves Star Wars, according to a lot of people.
Well, personally speaking, bounty hunters are just rad. But Boba Fett's probably like in my top 5 favorite characters. Quite literally. Yeah.
I just saw some TV show about, I think it was about some bounty hunter. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was all right. That was okay.
There's a pretty good one out
I've
there.
yet to see it, but I'll take y'all's word for it. Mhm.
All right. Alex, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, okay, Jacob, Justin, I know Jacob, I know you have put your man through this, going through this, but my question is really for Justin here. You are an agent. Are you? I know you're not necessarily a manager, but you've been besties for the resties with Jacob and Justin, Justin and Jacob. So what is this dynamic situation like?
Right. So obviously, the goal for right now is to get Jacob drafted. And then when he gets drafted, he'll get his own real technical manager. But, and so right now I am doing the role of the agent to at least make me a little valuable. Because if I'm pitching myself as the manager, when he gets his actual manager, I'll be irrelevant. But I'll still will be all of the qualities that the manager has and all of the same, pushing him to study, helping him study, helping him train, helping him get more publicity, get more onto shows like this. So I'll be doing agent stuff, manager stuff, you name it. I'm the guy behind the scenes, on the camera, behind the camera, doesn't matter.
Well, manager to manager in that case, I got to know real quickly. How do you work with him as far as his weaknesses and strengths? Do you know what they are? What's their training regimen?
I do know what they are.
In Schmoedown.
Yes, I do know what we are. We are preparing a plan that we will launch as soon as we get a little closer to when game time will be. But yeah, I know his strengths, I know his weaknesses. I already have people on the phone that are ready to write flashcards for his weaknesses. Obviously, we're not going to reveal what those are. I may be a rookie, but I'm not that much of a rookie. But we will be ready. That's all I have to say.
Very cool. And that's also, I feel like, a pretty good selling point to a manager that, I mean, they almost have like a good backup because first, like you said, you can kind of be on him about studying and things like that. So they can not have to be as focused and things like that, but also helping get him on show appearances and stuff. A lot of even the show competitors themselves don't have that luxury of having someone that's what they're doing for them is getting them appearances and things. So that's a pretty good package deal to try to advertise and sell for you guys.
Yeah. And I won't technically be on your faction, but I will be helping him and he'll be helping you. So
yeah, very cool.
It sounds like that there might be a slight difference this season when it comes to Schmoedown. We might have the introduction of actual, not so much Schmoedown managers or agents, but there's obviously talent. But maybe it is the introduction of the Schmoedown agent helping, working, and promoting these people accordingly before they get drafted. Just putting that out there. Justin, you might be able to start something here.
We are groundbreaking. We've always been known for that for these 3 days we've been in this spot.
Very subtle. Very humble.
You ever heard of Brock Lesnar? You ever heard of Brock Lesnar or CM Punk? That's Paul Heyman. I'm The Undertaker. That's Paul Bearer.
I don't know much about wrestling, but I think that was a mic drop moment.
I am with you. I don't know, but that the sound is impressive. So I'm going to say absolutely, completely agree. All right. So we're getting to see a good sense of who you are as a person, as a competitor, and what we expect from you with your promo chalk, things like that. Is there a particular manager that you think would be a good backup to you to like your personalities will mesh really well when it comes to promos and things like that?
Jacob, you want to take this first?
Yeah, you're asking about how our personalities will match in promos and whatnot?
Yeah, is there a manager you think personality-wise would match really well with what you're bringing to the table?
Are you talking about Justin or one of the managers of the factions?
Managers of the factions.
Oh, yes. Well, absolutely. I'm willing to work. However, I need to work. Obviously, I'm professional that way. But ultimately, as you can see, I have more of a heel persona. and that's definitely what I'm going for. And yeah, absolutely, that's really how I want to drive it in, and I believe that I could work with a lot of managers that way.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry if I misheard it. It cut out a little bit in my ears.
No,
So
you're fine.
yeah.
I can answer a little bit too. Obviously, Jacob will excel regardless of what manager that he's on. He will be the best. But I mean, we do want to be with the best. We do want to associate with the best. And obviously, need I even say who the best is? The 2 or 3 time, whatever it is, award-winning manager of the year, Bobby Finstock, Bobby Gucci, Finstock Exchange.
The man.
We want to associate with the best. That would be, the best example of the faction that we could be on. Gucci and I obviously have a very good relationship. We work together well. Jacob will fit right in with that. So we will be very happy with anything. But if we want to be, we want to continue the legacy of the best. And there's only one way to do that, or the best way to do the best is to be with the best as the best. So I think that speaks for itself.
Could I pitch someone to you, Jacob?
Yeah, what's up?
I think, honestly, Gucci, like I said earlier, I think Gucci would be a great pick. Obviously, clearly work together, very well. And I think personalities would mesh very well. But I think strategically, a better pick, just because I also think they're a better manager, would have to be Roxy in your case. So now let me tell you why specifically. Okay, let me explain Roxy. Let me hold up. All right, 1, she is in need of a Star Wars competitor, okay, and an IG competitor. Now, she already has Alex Bateman in her group. Awesome. I'm going to assume she's also going to keep them part of the core trio, obviously, but she needs someone to work that tournament. And I think you could potentially take in that lead. And also, she really needs competitors that can really bounce off of her very, very well. And I think you, with your character, can really mesh well, make some weird, really funny, heavily accented promos that would really get people like me pretty excited, I have to say. And plus, let's face it, what she needs more than anything right now is multi-division competitors. And I think easily you can fit into a lot of those slots. Yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sexy numbers, Jacob. Can you see yourself picking some sexy numbers?
I'm only picking sexy numbers, Alec. That's the only numbers I'm picking. And the last thing I want to say to bounce off of Juice right now, and Juice I think Juice, you would totally agree with me. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever faction picks me, whatever manager picks me, greatness will be brought to that faction.
Mm-hmm.
It will be. So that's what's on the table. I can guarantee that.
Very cool. Speaking of greatness, so that's your promise. So if someone should draft you expecting that greatness, why should they draft you? Like, you're going to bring greatness, personality, everything's like that. But like, what makes you stand apart from everyone else in that draft? Like, what makes you so special, if that makes sense?
What makes me so special?
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't make him special?
I know.
You're getting calls from like Aussie and things. So like,
so here's
I feel like
the matter. So here's the truth of the matter. All right. The number one thing that I have done since I have been listed on the draft list is this. I've gotten attention. What was the first thing, Juice? What was the first thing that we started working on once I saw my name on that draft list?
We filmed a pretty banging promo.
Yes, we did. And we did it immediately. And we got attention. We got attention not only to ourselves, but we got attention to the Schmoedown. And we will keep bringing that attention everywhere. And that attention will lead to success. And that success will lead to greatness. So this is not a gimmick, all right? I know I got my persona. I know we got our characters, but that's the truth. What I can bring to the Schmoedown that I think is unique is I can bring the Schmoedown good and great attention, and that attention will lead to success, and that success will lead to greatness. I do not guarantee, I do not promise. I simply will bring that greatness to the Schmoedown.
And there's
So you
absolutely
do
something to be
guarantee
said. What was it? What was that?
So you do guarantee it. If you say
Oh, yeah.
will, you do guarantee it. Yeah.
One of those were contractually
Yeah.
binding than others,
Okay.
though. So like you gotta use legalese a little bit with.
Oh, yeah.
real quick, Jacob, like you said, you are going to bring greatness. You are going to guarantee some really great matches to whoever ends up drafting you, Roxy. But I really do, Roxy, get on it. But I do have to know specifically why should managers put their confidence in you? Like, what do you have to show you for yourself? Have you entered in tournaments? Have you played in a fan leagues? What do you have to show for your knowledge, per se, Jacob?
The most that I have to show for my own knowledge is, first off, just my dedication to the content at hand. I'm not somebody, and Justin can attest to this, I am not somebody who just likes Star Wars and just likes the movies and just likes what I do.
Sweats it.
I sweat it. The amount of money that I paid to go to Celebration a few years ago, insane. Well, for me at least. I'm not trying to brag about bank accounts or anything. I'm just saying how it's like the amount of which I am willing to dedicate myself to the content. I have my own channel. I'm not trying to do this to self-promote, but I have my own channel where I do my own content and all that because that's how passionate I am about it. And I'll tell you this much. Whatever study group that you want me to be a part on, whatever assignment, whatever movie that you want me to watch over and over and over again, I will.
You might think that styling gel in his hair. It's midichlorians or whatever that stuff is in Star Wars. That's what's really keeping that up.
All the way up. Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Literally oozing from his pores.
Yeah, and it is the dedication. We don't know about these Thomas Hoopers, about these Dragon Cons, these Star Wars nerd net people. But we do know from Jacob that the dedication will be there. We don't know how much these guys are willing to study, and I'm sure that they'll be on podcasts like this and talk about it. But I can attest, Jacob can attest, the studying's already began. The dedication will be full force. And we know the Schmoedown. I know the Schmoedown. I've been a diehard Schmoedown fan since the beginning, since season 2. I watch every single match. And Jacob knows the Star Wars League more than anyone. The dedication to Schmoedown is absolutely there. We know exactly what to prepare for. We know the types of questions to study for. We know it all. We don't have to go back. Okay, now I'll go and watch these Schmoedown matches and see what it's all about, like a lot of these other people probably will. We're already there. We have that base knowledge. We have the base knowledge of Star Wars. We have the base knowledge of Schmoedown. Now it's just going full steam ahead, studying, making questions, making flashcards, doing all that stuff, doing all whatever study tactics that we got going on, which is getting better and better. More ideas are popping in my head every single day, in his head, and it's going to be full force when we get going.
Absolutely. So since you do have such a strong knowledge in Star Wars, but also in the Schmoedown itself, I mean, some Star Wars players seem to be a little bit more just knowledge based because they just know Star Wars well, but so you have that strategy behind it as well, where you can actually use the game itself to your advantage.
Yes, absolutely. You can take that to the bank.
Oh, we will.
And I will cash it. I'll take you up
I haven't
on
been
that.
to a bank in 15 years. But
Had money under your mattress.
I must say, Justin, as a agent, we're just calling out here. Justin the Juice is an agent. Other competitors, Justin's your guy. Justin, I gotta know. Aside from Jacob, who is like one of your competitors that you're kind of representing, for both IG and Star Wars, are there other competitors you're kind of like working with, kind of overseeing, or is this a special relationship?
This is a special relationship for right now. That doesn't mean I won't consider doing with other competitors in the future. I absolutely will. When, for example, my AJ Lancaster over at What the Show with me, that we the podcast we do Tuesday nights. He and I had like a movie trivia tournament battle against our Bethany and Mike over with us there, and we went like full strategizing, doing all that stuff. So that kind of thing really excites me. Like if somebody like him was ever to get into another match, like he played against Ben Bateman one time, different stuff like that. Like that just gets me really excited. Like I'd love to be able to help study, love people to help get ready. And so whether it's just for like fun fan stuff like that or action type stuff, or it's for actual Schmoedown, I'm totally down. But yeah, maybe I should stop muting people that are sending me messages, and maybe people have been contacting me about that. So we'll see.
You're in demand. Why stop the opportunities? Just keep them coming.
But regardless, Jacob is the number one priority. That's
Of course.
yeah. Don't let you think that you can take them from me.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
Justin
gravy
knows.
talk in the chat.
What? The chat stuck
There's
on
a lot
gravy?
of random gravy talk in the chat, and I don't understand why it's like I want a bathtub of gravy on toast. I'm all gravy. Like there's a lot of gravy, chat. Now I know you're talking. Mm-hmm.
I had biscuits and gravy for breakfast this morning, and somebody's stalking me.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of gravy in the
Right,
chat.
the
Anyway,
security detail, guys, like, because apparently they're watching you.
a lot of gravy. It's all
Oh no,
gravy.
just going back to what we were talking about before, as Justin was kind of saying, you know, like Justin, you know, the most important person to me in my life is my wife, right? Absolutely. But in this scenario, who was the first person I called? Well, I love you, man. I do, but come on. So as I was saying, the first person that I called once I saw my name on that draft list, it was you. Because
It was.
let me tell you guys, and trust me, don't get me wrong, I will be selfish. I will claim this man. I will have this man cling to me as tight as I possibly can. But this man, if you need an advocate, this is your guy. The man who wields the legendary little red Yamaha guitar. He's the man.
Okay, that's probably another.
I'm open for writing theme songs too.
That was going to be my next question. Is like, so since you have this amazing, very talented advisor or advocate, are you going to have promos involving some really awesome guitar music and things like that?
Oh,
That's a selling point to me.
people were insulted that we didn't do it in the first video.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
people
bad,
were-
honestly.
people were
I
offended.
genuinely do.
People were like, "Yeah, we're really like, how can you have a guitar and not play the guitar?"
I think the guitar is like low-key more famous than anyone on the screen right now. The guitar is like by far the most famous thing right now. Craig, we did get a super chat just a few minutes ago from John Lestrina, who said, I wish the juice was my Mr. Miyagi. Oh.
Anytime, Johnny Gucci, anytime.
Especially after the Cobra Kai stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that's some high praise. That's some love right there.
It absolutely is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jacob, have you seen Cobra Kai?
I was actually going to binge it this weekend. I'm not even joking.
All right,
Because that's
Justin.
the one thing I've been lost at, and I hate myself for it because I love Karate Kid. So
Okay, well, let me ask you then: Star Wars or Karate Kid?
For me personally,
For both of you guys, yeah.
oh gosh. I mean, it's not really close, but I don't want to undersell the love that I do have for Cobra Kai. I would say I have rewatched Cobra Kai. Well, no, I can't even say that, but I love Cobra Kai. That's all I'll say.
Okay, and all right. So alternatively, Jacob, instead, okay, would you rather train with the Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai?
Oh, come on. How can you hesitate?
I gotta say Cobra.
All right.
That's why I like this guy.
Kelsey, are you in
Why
the same
became biased.
mindset, or is this like all baloney to you?
I have never seen anything Karate Kid related in my life, so I don't know anything.
Original?
Oh. So, okay, guys, everyone in the chat that's doing the C2-Way movie challenge the heck out of Kelsey right now. We got to get her to watch
Right
Karate
now.
I'm
Kid.
watching MSNBC
now.
for like 2 days, so I haven't had time for movies or TV.
Priorities, Kelsey. Priorities. This is priority over the Mandalorian and all that stuff. Oh my gosh,
That's saying a lot. That's
I stand by it. Okay.
Star Wars is flushing out content like every other second. Like, you
Yeah,
can take
like
yeah.
Star Wars is fine. Cobra Kai is forever.
It's a limited engagement.
Yeah.
It's very short time. You got to get it out in a weekend. You're good.
Oh yeah. Now, Jacob, when you do watch Cobra Kai, you better watch it on 1.5 speed because you got to get to watching the Star Wars movies for the 6th time in one day. So don't spend too much time on Cobra Kai. Wait till after you have the belt.
Okay.
Speaking of Star Wars, there's been some talk in Facebook groups and in SCN and things like that of the possibility of future seasons, maybe not this season, but future, including canon, so including cartoons and Mandalorian, things like that. Are those things that you do like and interested in, so that would be easy for you, or is that something you're going to have to branch into more if that does become a part of the Star Wars division?
Oh, yeah, I'm into all of it. If it's on screen, I've seen it a bunch of times. Yeah, for sure. In fact, it's like it's like a catch-22, but I feel like the pros outweighs the cons personally. So, like, on the one hand, it's like way more content to pay attention to, right? But on the other hand, for the top players, such as Alex himself, it's like the margin for failure is a little bit wider then. So,
Totally makes sense.
When it comes to being potentially drafted as with a faction, with a manager, what are some characteristics you look for when it comes to coming with a really good faction that you're excited to be a part of? Like, what kind of characteristics would they have to have? Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, characteristics, ultimately one, if they want to be great, I want to be great. That's the ultimate commonality. And 2, also, like, just straight up hardworking. It's like I said, I'll put in the time. I'll put in extra hours. I'll stay up way too late watching whatever movies, doing whatever study groups you want me to do. So, and that's really what it is. I'm willing to put in all the work necessary to show up and take any belt. That's what I'm here for. So those are the 2 main things: greatness, hardworking. That's ultimately what it is.
Greatness and hardworking. Okay.
Very cool. What else?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but he will mesh with every characteristic. Like, I mean, we know we've heard all about like the group chats that all these factions have. Every faction likes to brag how their group chat's the best and their studying is the best. He will be all for that. He'll be the guy. He'll be helping other competitors get ready for matches. He'll be studying with them. He'll be like very appreciative of help he does receive, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think, like, from what we've seen from the factions, every faction in last season, every faction put like an equal amount of like dedication into all their different, all the group chats and studying group. And Jacob will be all for that. He will mesh with that. He'll engage in it, be participating in it. So he will mesh with every faction for sure.
Very cool. I think that's one thing they're definitely looking for in the factions is a team player. I mean, like, everyone has their disputes and things like that, but bringing something to the collective is always very helpful. It sounds like you're going to do an excellent job of doing that. So awesome.
Appreciate
selling
that.
point.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Alex, any final questions before we move on to our main show?
Honestly, real quick, Jacob.
Yes.
What is alternatively, what are characteristics that you of a faction and or a manager that you do not want to be a part of?
Oh.
Like, if you're like, for example, if you say this, I don't want to be a part of that.
I mean, gosh, it's kind of just the opposite of like what I kind of just said, because it's like I said, I'm a prize fighter. I don't want to be the enhancement talent That's a wrestling term. I don't want to be the enhancement guy. I want to be the guy who shows up. And if I'm going to show up, I would like the support to being brought up to the top. So with that being said, I want to be a serious competitor, and I want to bring serious attention to whatever faction I'm brought in. So if there is entertainment, yep, I want to be an entertainer. And that's great. But if all we do is have fun in games, and that's all we do is have fun in games, all we do is cut sick promos, which, I do.
We are going to do.
Which we are going to do. But like
No.
that, if that's all we do, that's the main thing. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to have fun, but if all we do is have fun and be nice and, and do all those things, we're not going to actually get the work done. So, yeah.
Got it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I think it's about time to start talking about some things that happened in the Schmoedown community, to the main meat of the show. It's getting really close to not only the awards coming up, we got the free agency and then the draft. It's going to be a busy 3 weeks. So I am super excited to talk about this. First, I'm going to start off with, on 1/23, Christian says the full draft list will be released. So I want to know, is there anybody who you've seen, like their videos pop up and things like that you're like, I wish they would be in the Schmoedown. Hope they're one of the names that gets added, or even somebody like maybe that was on the list that's been in past seasons you'd like to maybe see pop up on the list? Justin, we'll start with you.
Yeah, like quiz show and stuff. Like, are they in the draft? Like, in Nikki, like they'll probably be in the second wave, right? I don't think they announced Jeff.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm working with Jeff right now, and I have so much promise for Jeff. I'm so excited for Jeff. I feel like it's a matter of time for him. So,
yeah, and that was a really funny promo that he did. So he's definitely somebody that caught my attention before. Obviously, I've known him for a while, but that he was being able to pull off, because he does sometimes bring on that aura of being the super serious trivia competitor, and I think he did a great job of being really funny in the promo. So that was exciting to see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jacob, did you see? Is there any you could think of that you would be interested to see be in the draft list with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never, I don't know what dynamic she's necessarily going for, but right away I noticed Egg Lord's video. She did a great job. I loved that, and I think there's a whole bunch. We're all on the draft list for a reason, right? I think everybody's got great potential, but her specifically, when I saw her video, I was like, great job. And there's a whole bunch. I can't remember the names. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy, Rubik's Cube guy. You rock. Good job, man. You did 2 things that I have yet to accomplish.
Very cool. All right, Alex, what about you? I know you are a manager in the fan leagues. I'm assuming you're probably really hoping that some of your amazing competitors are getting to be on that draft list.
Yeah, I have my fingers crossed. Jeff is someone that I've started working with very recently, and trying to figure some stuff out for that. But I have some other competitors, absolutely, that I can 100% see them. One is Corey Quinto, and I say that because not only is he's defended the belt 3 times. He's so great, and he's played for so long, and he's really, really analytical the way he approaches it. So I'd be really, really excited. His promo was absolutely bomb. And also Alan Smithy. Sorry, his name's not Alan. I keep forgetting. He's Alan. Oh my gosh, his promo, Ryan. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. His call out against Kevin Smith was absolute gold. Director to director, it was everything I've ever wanted, and it was so perfect. And Jonathan Caro, he is vicious. He's absolutely vicious in the way he kind of goes about not only competing and training, but I've seen him play. If you've seen him, he's played along to tons of matches, and there's been a handful of times that he actually defeated Adam Collins when he plays along, because he gets a perfect, and he plays along, and he gets either a perfect or he has beaten him in the overtime. Against Brendan, he would have continued playing. And so it's just a handful of little things like that where I'm I feel like it's kind of inevitable for them. So Sorry, I'm getting preachy with these guys. I apologize. I love working with them so much.
Yeah, the one that stands out to me, and I watched his promo a few times, was Quiz Show. I always liked Quiz Show. I mean, we talked to him in the group chats like that. I'm like, oh, he's so good. But I was actually surprised by his promo video. I didn't even know that's the route he was going to go with it, but I loved it. I feel like that's definitely a gap in the personality types for the Schmoedown that I think would be amazing to be added. So definitely hoping Quiz gets to be on there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. My next question I'd like to talk about is, so the draft, after free agency, things like that, draft is coming up. This is our first draft. Well, it's the second draft ever, but it's going to be our digital draft. First time was live event. It was very different. We were actually there and drunk, as almost everyone in that room was.
What?
I mean, I know it's hard to remember. They're so drunk. But that was like my question is like, how do you think that's going to affect the draft this year? Because first of all, they can kind of, you're not in a big group around of people and you're not drunk. The whole entire group's around. Should we expect something different? Do we expect a little bit better, like more solid draft choices and less impulsive? Or like, what do you think we should expect with the digital draft versus the live draft?
I do, yeah. I do think that it will be different because, yeah, you've got things like Jeff telling Roxy to draft JTE 5th or whatever in last year's draft. That's not going to happen this year. Like Roxy is not going to get influenced by a competitor last second to just impulse draft somebody that ends up never playing. And so there's going to be a lot more analytics for sure. So I think, and then last year, obviously everyone was kind of figuring stuff out, seeing like how this was going to go. And so I think this year is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be crazy competitive, crazy serious. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. But yeah, I think it'll be good.
Jacob, what are your thoughts? How the digital age is going to affect the draft this year compared to last year?
Well, the only thing I could really say, based off everything that you said, Kelsey, is I don't think being inebriated is going to change much because now everybody's in the comfort of their own home.
Also true.
But yeah, I mean, what is being digital not change? I mean, I will say we've been really blessed. I feel like the Schmoedown's been really blessed in this past year because, you know, nobody knew when the pandemic hit, you know, what was going to happen with digital. Was it actually going to be successful? And it's been a hit. In fact, I've had more time to watch the Schmoedown now in the digital format that I did prior. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I pretty much echo everything that Justin said, and yeah.
Very cool. All right, Alex, what are your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, just there's nothing else to say on top of that. There was introduction of so many new rules. There's so many, and like you said, Justin, this past year was the season when Harloff and Ellis and all the competitors were kind of working through stuff. They were more reactive than proactive because they were in so many new situations they've never even considered doing before. You know, they've got to troubleshoot on the spot. And so this season they're going into it being a much more proactive in the way of going back these matches, potential rules, and, you know, things like that. And there's a lot of new things we had to consider if we're going to be doing so many more digital matches on this level as well. And let's face it, we're not doing just 1, maybe 2 matches a week. We're getting 3 matches a week every week. That's a lot of matches. So there's going to be a lot of troubleshooting as a result.
Absolutely. I do feel similarly. One thing I think is going to be different, and I'm interested to see when we go back and forth between live and digital and possibly live again, is I do agree. I think that the choices are going to be way more strategic this time. I think there's not going to be as much influence around what's going on around you with what your choices are. You're going to stick to your piece of paper and what notes you have and just go with it, which might make for way smarter drafts. But I also feel like we're going to lose certain moments, like the whole Dewberry moment, things like that, and Makuga moment. That would not have been the same as if it wasn't live. Seeing Josh stand up and be like, it just. So I think we will lose certain moments and maybe certain decisions that benefited story and things like that. But I think points wise, it will be a way better draft.
I do think real quickly that people are, I know you said that, Kelsey, people are going to go into this much more strategic. However, people always, I think people are going to be much more strategic as far as like backup plans, essentially. They're just going to have a list of be like, hey, this is the top 15, top 20 competitors I absolutely need to have. Okay. But if I can't get this person, like someone took it right before me, I got to go with someone else. Here's my backup. I need a backup for a backup, just because we are going to be having 12 competitors per faction, and we're still only having 9 factions. So it's going to get that much more competitive going into this season. So competitors not only have to be much more strategic going about it, but I'm also really curious to see if any competitors are going to go into the faction being like, nah, I don't want to play. No, I'm out. That's something I'd be really curious to see for the first time, potentially this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do feel like tension, especially in former faction groups, did grow and things like that. So we might see certain individuals who don't want to work together, who are trying to be put in the same faction, things like that. I am interested to see how that plays on camera, on TV, because that's the drama is a fun part about the drafts and things like that. Like Roka being drafted 4th was, I feel, it was a moment and things like that. So like there's things you don't you don't anticipate things like that happening and stuff like that, but like that's the reality TV part of this that we all enjoy so much. And so that is definitely something I'm looking forward to. This draft is just like what's going to happen, story related or not, because I mean, even sometimes stories grow from accidental conflicts that you didn't even know you started. So I'm interested to see how that happens.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, well, speaking on the draft, my question for you is, like we said, this is the second draft. The first draft, people didn't really know what they were doing with the draft as much. Some people aren't like me. I'm not a sports person. I don't know how to like figure out how I'm going to choose things and points and things like that. Who are you anticipating to, in your mind, draft the best this year? Like, who do you think's learned the most, or already it does know and it's going to maintain? Like, who do you think's probably planning the best draft in your opinion?
I think off the top of my head, Winston definitely comes to mind as somebody that's going to be going crazy this year. You were just saying on SEN, you were just saying on SEN, like he's taking this super seriously because he's, upset with how things turned out last year. So I think like Shannon will be like crazy focused on just trying to get Marisol and Laura back. So as far as like the other kind of like top people, I think Swag will probably be putting. I think Swag is who I would keep my eye on to be making the craziest moves, putting the most like insane amount of work into the draft. So
Well, we already saw that. I mean, look at him. He did an open invite today. I mean, like for draftless members, you'll talk to him. I mean, he's going. Yeah,
I was very impressed with that when he did that. I'm like, that's good. Like, open your door, talk to people. You don't know what you're dealing with, so you talk to somebody. So that was cool.
I would have to say going into this season, I think one of the managers that's going to have the biggest turnaround is probably Kaiser. Now, Kaiser, he has definitely he is the manager with the real big moves going into this season. Just because not only does he gets first dibs essentially, but also last season he did a high risk, high reward draft style, drafting very focused on IG, which is great, but that's again very, very high risk. And I think he's definitely going to learn his lesson going into this draft. Obviously, he's very sports minded already, but I think he learned his lesson that he needs to really spread out some of his faction and really diversify much more efficiently. So he's someone I'm more excited about than any other manager, just to see not only how he learns from his mistakes, but also what is he going to do with his picks. He has like the most interesting picks so far.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, I absolutely agree as well. Kaiser, who's I was going to go with, because I was actually the most excited for his draft last year because he did take so many risks. And in some ways it paid off, in other ways it didn't. But I think he's learned the mistakes of the last year's draft and has learned from him. But yet he's still got that edgy, risky factor where he's going to still take risks. He's still going to I like that guy. I think he's going to fit personality-wise. I'm going to get him. And I think that is a very good combination of things to do in a draft, a mixture of strategic and impulse. And he might be really scary next season. I that's who I have my eye on next season is Kaiser and his group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
It'll be cool. I think you got to think his dream scenario would be picking up, getting Paul Yama back, grabbing Ben Bateman, having them as his big team, and then keeping Parker for IG. You got to think. I mean, is there anything else that he would do that would be better than that? Obviously, than Merle, but as far as Kaiser with the relationships that he already has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those would absolutely make sense to me. I could totally see him pulling those moves, and I think that would be a really strong team. So it would be a really great foundation for the rest of his faction to have that much power, including Parker starting out. So he's definitely got the framework for a fantastic faction. Let's just hope that's how it works out.
I also have heard, which is thing is, I don't know how realistic it is, but I have heard that from several members of his faction in particular, I don't know how, if a lot of the other factions can say the same thing, but his faction members are very loyal to him. And even if they don't play very much at the season, like Vinny or, for example, or Brittany Young, they love working with him. And I have heard several times if someone else drafts him, they don't know if they'll want to play until they demand a trade. And I'm like, oh shit. That's a lot of love. I mean, you're willing to wait to go back with a manager that you prefer. And that's a bold move for, any competitor as well as any manager. But I'm kind of curious if we're going to get any of those situations coming into this season, because last season, not so much, obviously. But
also, a lot of people say things out loud and then act differently. Like what we've seen with Snyder is he's the most vocal, loves Roxy, but then when asked, is there a chance you're leaving her, he didn't say absolutely not. He's like, no comment, not going to comment on that.
Exactly.
So I feel like almost nobody's safe at this point. People you think are completely devoted to their managers might a decent offer jump ship and go somewhere else, which that's why not only the draft, but free agency itself is going to be, I feel like there's going to be a lot of shakeups that we don't see coming, and it's going to be very entertaining to watch.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I want some traitorous moments. I want some hefty betrayals. I want it all.
Oh yeah.
I want Jacob to betray Justin. I want Justin to betray Jacob. Let's make it happen.
Christian's already writing that storyline.
Oh my god.
He's denying the betrayal.
Oh my god.
The guitar falls off the wall and it's like an omen.
Well, Justin, I know where you
Changing my
I know where
life.
you sleep. Quite literally.
Well, speaking of betrayals and things, I mean, there's some people we automatically assume are not going to leave their manager. Like Shazam, of course, is no way going to leave Coyce like that. Is there anybody like that you would love to see maybe not stick with the manager that you think they're going to, for entertainment value?
While he's kind of thinking on it, I can easily picture Chandru going somewhere else.
That would be interesting to watch. That'd be
Do you have anyone in mind?
I mean, I remember seeing earlier this season where it was just where Roxy, she was like, hey, Chandru, check your DMs. I would love to chat with you about your career in Schmoedown. And it was stuff like that. And he's like, I'll reach you later and things like that. And he even reaffirmed it on a handful of times on SEN. And he's like, yeah, we've chatted a handful of times. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? But, I mean, it's, I would be kind of curious to see how that happened, just because I do know that Winston, obviously, he loves working with Chandru and vice versa. But again, I'm really curious what that pitch would have to be in order to steer a champion away from their manager. That's some big words.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Justin.
For whatever reason, Andrew Ghai jumped out to me as maybe wanting to go have him maybe better served with a more character type of manager like a Kaiser or a Gucci versus Sam Levine, who's pretty much just is Sam Levine. But maybe
I don't think he would want to keep him, to be honest.
You don't think
he would
Ghai?
want to keep him. I don't think Guy. Like I don't think Sam would want to keep or should even want to keep Andrew Ghai. And I say that as
that's
like
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I say that as a priestess of the Church of our Lord and Savior Andrew Ghai. I don't think he really should be like Andrew Ghai.
Yeah.
Totally want to keep this dude in my faction when I could easily go with someone else that has like a potentially better record.
Also, though, Andrew Guy's not on the draft list
at all.
at all,
I thought,
and it wasn't an accident.
I mean, we don't know where he is, so
I was gonna say.
okay, no, that's true. We don't know where he is. Like, I have theories.
I mean, he's
We all have theories.
he's in.
He's in
Jacob,
field
any-
replacement.
Seeing your
Any-
apartment?
Yes. I was gonna ask, is he in the closet right there? Oh, I thought I heard something rustling around when the last time I was over.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's true. Right. The question was somebody that's like that you would think for sure. So, yeah, I mean, maybe. Oh man, I mean, it would be cool to not have Roka and Gucci be in the same faction.
That was mine too. Like he decided to stay and be like, I think it'd be very entertaining for them. Like at the draft, Roka's like, never mind, I'm going wherever Merle's going. Never mind, sorry, Gucci.
I don't want my boy Gucci to get backstabbed and betrayed, but I don't know. Do they have good chemistry? They seem like they're always like John's always critiquing him, and like when Bateman was like before he turned on Gucci, every time he talked about Gucci, it was nothing but affection, and usually Merle kind of the same way. Roka's like the only one that actively criticized Gucci as his manager.
No, I disagree. I disagree. If you kind of look back, if you look back at all the matches that he's been in, maybe it's all code. I'm not entirely, because I know they're all about code over there with Gucciverse.
That's true.
They would Emily Rose Jacobson, Andrew DeMolanta, they all did the same thing, because that's why I think it could be a code where they're like, where he says, I think you should totally do this. And they do the exact opposite based off his advice. And so you kind of wonder, because of if it happened a handful of times, that'd be one thing. But because of the consistency, it does make me think that it is code and that they are actively following his advice.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially.
That's interesting. Could be. All right. And so let me try to think of a thing to talk about free agency, because I ran out of my questions. Alex, you have any conversations you'd like to talk about with free agency?
Well, I gotta know, when it came to making y'all's promo, I mean, we've seen all these amazing promos, and I've heard a lot of people talk about, it took them like 2 tries to get it done right, and other people, it took them like 50 tries. But what was it like in the process of actually making your promo and creating your characters? Your chemistry, because obviously the chemistry's there, but like getting it on camera and everything, sometimes that takes a little bit of work.
You want me to start? You want to go first?
I'll go first. Well, it's difficult to say with the one that we posted on the group, because we really, when we noticed my name was on the draft list, we really wanted to take our time, just like we want to make sure this one's right. The promo that I put on my audition tape, which I have not made public, the one I put on my audition tape, that one I did kind of put together a little bit quicker, and it's really like yeah, so that's how it was for that. So I guess it really depends on the scenario and guess we're making for the promo.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we definitely, I mean, I will say this. He, like, when he first, I wasn't sure exactly what, we've never done something like shoot a promo before. So I wasn't sure exactly what Jacob was going to do. So we start our shoot and we're like, all right, well, let's like run through a practice. And so I'm like tripping up over all my words. And then he gets up in front of the camera and just like, I thought I was like watching I thought The Rock transcended into Jacob's body. He was just like, whatever, words like that. And
Yeah.
and I was like, holy cow. I was blown away. I mean, I knew he had it in him, but I seeing it like that for the first time. And so he crushed every single take we did. Right, we did it a few times just to make it extra perfect because obviously, yeah, we wanted to make the big splash. But every take he did, oh man, it was watching something special. So I cannot wait to see, especially get like a little of Christian's input in there too, like when we're actually filming a real promo in the Collider Studios, which will absolutely happen at some point here. It's gonna be awesome to watch. So.
What about you, Jacob? Did you know right away how you wanted your character to be, or did it take a little bit of trial and error, or?
Yeah, I pretty much knew right away what I wanted it to be. There were some changes that I made from my audition. Obviously going along with Christian's advice, being like, "Hey, don't put all your eggs in one basket." But Justin, I just wanted to say that was like the nicest thing you've ever said to me, like about being like The Rock. Because like, what's one of our number one rules? If you wouldn't say it to The Rock, don't say it. And it's like we all want to be The Rock, so I'm touched.
Mm-hmm. True. High praise. That's definitely some good things for sure.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of characters, so you definitely have more of a tough edge, a heel dynamic, and things like that. Is there any competitor you really want to play, or at least have an opportunity to film a promo against, other than what you did for your audition? Like, you're itching to be able to go after?
Oh my goodness, that's a really hard question.
I have like a quick, fun answer.
Go for it.
So
smorgasbord.
Not again to plug what the show on Tuesday nights, which is actually taking place tomorrow night with the combination Chill to Mike shoot in the chat, shoot the actual official title. But I believe it's like Chill to the Show or What the Chill Show or something like that. And so it's gonna PLD and Danny, me, and our normal What the Show crew, I believe. Kelsey, are you gonna be on that? And Kelsey, perfect. So yeah, and I mean obviously anyone from Call to Action is welcome to that. Alex as well, of course. So
I'm not on show. Yeah.
Well, right, but whatever. So we had on our last episode we had Adam Witt on, and Adam Witt's of course a Star Wars player. Jacob Witt Navin is going to be a Star Wars player. How fun would it be to have the Wit versus the Wit? The battle of the Wits.
Writes itself.
Yeah.
Do we even need a
Battle of the Wits. I love it. Oh my gosh.
It's perfect. Chill to What the Show. Thank you, Mike. Yep, Chill to What the Show tomorrow night. So, but yeah, I mean, Battle of the Wits, Jacob Witt, Adam Witt, be perfect.
That alone is like, yeah, that's at the top of my list. Dream match for me right now.
That would be awesome. But I have to say, just as me, if I was a heel type players like that, how do you go after Adam Witt? Because like he's just like the nicest human being in the universe. So I guess the question is like, how do you go heel against somebody that you genuinely really like?
like Adam is absolutely my type of heel, like where he's the fun, loving, he's like insulting you, but he's just joking. So it's like, oh man, it's so obvious, it's so over the top. You just I loved my favorite episode of Schmoedown ever. I think it was just when he was judging, and he was just so funny. I think the dungeon themed episode. and like he's just so good, and so it would be absolutely fun. It would be over the top. It would be hilarious. So we obviously wouldn't go full heel against an Adam Witt. We'd go fun heel against Adam Witt.
Oh yeah, I love his heel work so much.
Oh, the match we all need to see. Everyone, plug it. Be like, we got to see the Battle of the Wits because that would be great.
I would love to see you go up against Robert Parker in IG. I said that, like, hear me out. I'm talking about this dynamic. Like he's wearing his Middle Earth, suit, his dolphin suit, and with his LTR posters in the back, and you're like doing this thing, and you're like being like, what the fuck are you doing? What? Stop. This is a game. You're not going to like a courting site from 1800. Chill. And you're like trying to talk him into like being a overall like better like cocaine dolphin. And it would be hilarious if to have that dynamic go down.
It'd be good. I would like to issue a restraining order before that match takes place. You know he's going to be trying to steal my guitar and our sunglasses and all that. So doing his little magic, but
next thing you know, they're gone.
Oh my gosh, distraction! Oh, that'd be gold.
Oh my God.
Gold.
Justin, just think of that. Justin knows what I'm thinking. He knows what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea. I know exactly.
That's such a good dynamic. Right? You always don't have to talk. You just know. You just know. That will definitely help during gameplay. If you're like, don't do this.
Oh yeah. I can stare. I will be staring right through my sunglasses, right into his sunglasses, and he'll know exactly what to do.
Right there. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Oh, right. Let me think of something else that we would like to know about you, because we want to make sure we get an opportunity to showcase you to managers that either now or maybe later watching this. So let me think about something that'd be good to ask that we haven't already. Alex, you got any ideas?
I'm kind of really curious to see how everything's going to be lined up with, with having more matches. I am really kind of wondering about going into this upcoming season, if we are going to get managers, because there's more slots available, where more managers are trying to think of competitors that are able to focus on one division. Not two divisions, 2 or 3 divisions. Not everyone can be Mike and Chance Ellison,
Right.
Or Alex Damon, but we might get more managers focusing with competitors having one division as their focus, like Nikki DeMolanta. As far as I know, she's not going to be in teams or anything so far. So I kind of wonder if that's going to be a strategy going into this one as well.
Absolutely. I kind of how I feel, and I think this is one thing you could offer too. I feel like a lot of people is have them focus on one, but have the capability of 2 or 3. So that way, like tournaments come up, like, okay, so like your Star Wars would be your main thing. You could focus on like that, but having that IG as your secondary option, things like that, makes you just that much more sellable. Because if something happens that makes their IG player unable to play, or if for some reason they're able to add 2 people on IG in a tournament and things like that, they have you there, so you're pulling double duty. So I could definitely see it being a selling point that, yes, you have your one specialty that you focus in, but having that second, I think, is a really good selling point to have. Be like, I can do this, but I can do this if you need me to, like what Barbarian did for IG this year. So I definitely think that that's a very helpful selling point. So Star Wars, yes, is what you would want to be your main division, correct? If you were to,
if I had to pick one, that's what I would do.
Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah. We like the being flexible, right? Exactly like that. Jacob would have been perfect for that. Starting off the year as a Star Wars competitor, and then, this IG tournament's happening. We need somebody to step up and be in the tournament. He would absolutely be that guy. He would do well, So there's a lot of flexibility with him. So it's whatever the faction needs, he's ready for.
Absolutely. And I just want to pull this up. Is that a tiny piano? That's a keytar.
How dare! not even my instrument, and I'm offended.
So offended. Yeah.
Also, we just got a Streamlabs that came in from Ferris that says, shockingly, hello. Hello, Ferris. Thank you so much for the Streamlabs donation.
What's up, Ferris?
Hi,
We
Ferris.
really appreciate
Ferris's day off.
it. All right.
That's
So,
true.
so my next question, and I'm like you explained about your flexibility, things like that. So I would be interested, like, how would you handle managers? Like, you have your persona, you have your things like that. But let's say mid-season, Christian decides we need you to turn face. Like, how would do you have the ability to like reevaluate your character if you needed to for a storyline? I guess is the question.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the biggest dynamic between I'm a massive professional wrestling fan. Let me just get that right out of the gate. So I have studied for like all of my life of like how the heel face dynamic works. And I know that I can jump between the two. Ultimately, the difference between a heel and the face is, oh, I'm mean or I'm not. Everybody thinks that's what it is. That's not what it is. It's how do you empathize with your audience? The heel might be totally sincere in everything that they're trying to say. And they might not even say something super mean. It's just totally unsympathetic and insensitive to their audience at what they're saying. Whereas the face, they are just playing into the empathy. They're playing into the realism of who they are, and they're bouncing on that. So the Jacob Whitnabian that you saw at the beginning of this video, leather jacket, sunglasses, I'm an open book. I could be either or, and I do believe I could excel either way. Because I think I have enough knowledge about that, as Justin was talking about when we filmed our first promo, that I know how to balance that dynamic to make it sway one way or the other. Ultimately, I just want my whatever faction I'm a part of to thrive and get attention, whether I'm a face or a heel.
Very cool. I think that flexibility is very great to have, because I'll admit that there's certain Schmoedown competitors like that they're very into who they are, who they came into the league as, but sometimes the story needs to take you somewhere else. And so I think flexibility in your persona and how you play your character is very great.
If he needs to tackle me through a table, so be it.
Okay, no one can do the tackle. Okay, no one else. No one.
And now we
You
have
can tackle, but you're never going to be the one tackling. Okay, that's Drew's. That's Drew's thing. Okay,
That's true.
all right. We have a super chat from Ben. It's not pulling up. Why isn't it pulling up? There it goes. Better teacher, Miyagi or Yoda?
Great question.
I think you should answer this one first.
Me or Kelsey?
You.
Um,
Hasn't seen the show, the movie.
Oh man, I mean, gosh, it's two sides of the same coin. It's you got to think Yoda. Just give it to him a little bit. You got to lean a little more towards Yoda, just based off of the 1,000 years of experience, or however many years. Jacob can probably tell you exactly how many, but yeah, I think Miyagi can occasionally get a little caught up in, things. I think we all know exactly what I'm talking about, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But
you know what?
I just
call yourself out on it. I appreciate it.
They're both great, and you gotta lean Yoda. I mean, but
Right.
I'd happily be taught by either.
I mean, you're going to be surprised with this. As much of a Star Wars guy I am, I'm going Miyagi. And one reason why, the only reason why is because, in my opinion, and I know this isn't all Yoda's fault because he was written this way, but I think that Miyagi, his students have a higher success rate than Yoda's do. And that's what I'm basing it off of.
No, I'm wrong there.
I would have to go with Miyagi as well. Not only because he has like a really cool Buddhist temple hangout that I could probably like visit my great cousins over at. So that'd be really, really cool. But I have a lot of contacts over in Okinawa because that's where I was born. So that'd be really cool.
Oh, wow.
It'd be really cool to go back to the place where I was born and hang out there and over in the Miyagi Dojo. But so that's why I thought it would have been like some random like swamp place.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was born in Dagobah, so that's why I chose Yoda. But
I have a bathroom, like a legit bathroom with Miyagi.
I'm gonna go with Palpatine. Is that an option? I like the dark.
I remember like I remember Kelsey when we went to like the what is it called, the Star Wars Galaxy one?
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, yes. I remember thinking it's not Galaxy World. I know it's for a fact it's not that name. We went and we were like reading like Danny and I and some other people. We were like reading through it's like the big declaration they have to say when they submit themselves to Palpatine or Yoda or whatever. And we were reading through and we were like, and just kind of mentioning things like following your heart and being passionate about it.
Oh, the Sith Code. Yeah.
Code. And suddenly, and I was like, being Sith sounds dope. and being a Jedi sounded really boring AF because it was all about
peace.
Not only practicality, but it was like never being emotional. It was never having connections, or having relationships. And suddenly I'm being a Jedi sounds awful.
Terrible. My goodness.
Let dumb stuff like kindness and mercy get that out of here.
No, they had no mention of that in it. It was like more the focus, like, yeah, we do not, cannot be a good Jedi if you have any kind of relationships. You can't be married, obviously. You can't have real friendships. You can't eat regardless of age. You can't really help a child, like this idea that you can mentor a child outside of the like mentor mentee situation.
Yeah.
Like you can't do any of that and be a good Jedi. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And that's why Qui-Gon was the last hope for Anakin Skywalker, and that was the duel of the fates.
Yeah.
That the Qui-Gon was like, oh, I'm going to defy the Jedi Order. I'm not going to live to the Jedi Code and all that garbage. And it's like, I'm going to train Anakin the way he should be. And then my boy takes him out. And there we go from here.
Gets taken out by this boy.
Yes, they come from the same set.
Like you guys are both a bunch of dorks or something.
I pull out my Star Wars thing. That's all I have nearby.
Oh, we only have like the Ultra Sabers ones. You got the Force Effects one. I'm jealous.
It's so cool. I'm divorced. That's the only thing I asked for in the divorce. I'm like, I get the lightsaber. That's mine. I don't care about anything else. I mean, other than poor things like Kelsey kids, but like stuff, I'm like, I get the lightsaber.
I got a Rebel Fighter coat.
Yes, you did.
I did out of sheer desperation because I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, legit, I need a coat. This coat is really expensive, but I need one. So I bought a coat.
Yeah, she was cold, so she bought the bright orange coat. And then, of course, as we go over to the Sith area, she gets mercifully teased and ridiculed by the Sith people working there. Like, how dare you, Rebel, come over here. It was great.
This is the one compliment I will give Alex Damon tonight, and it's the only one you'll probably ever hear, is he has a nice jacket. That's absolutely true.
He does. He
Does
really
he ever not wear a jacket?
I don't think I've ever seen him without that jacket on.
All right. We've got some more questions I want to make sure we get a chance to ask. Justin, do you have your favorite song you play on your guitar?
Oh, man.
I've never heard this before.
Yeah, right. Neither have I. I think it's out of batteries, or I try and like mess around with something. But Jump from Van Halen was like perfect to learn on that kind of a guitar, because like, you know, if it's like my bigger one, the fingers are like way too big, and that solo is so crazy that it's like I can't extend my fingers that much. But like for this little guy, it's perfect. I'm like learning, and the next like guitar video I'm gonna release is Take on Me. And ever since I've like really like got down that little riff, I've been like addicted to playing that on there. So I'd probably Take On Me or Jump or one of them. But
Both of those are so good.
Oh my gosh. Please. Oh gosh, I need to see this happen. I
It'll
do.
be
I need to. Justin, set up a Patreon. I will sign up for access.
I am more interested in not just the guitar of that video. You better sing it. I will make you sing that, Justin.
Yeah.
It will happen.
I want to.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dang it. Oh, I
I
have to.
will help you. I will help you.
Another question we have, what is your favorite Bon Jovi song? I don't know if that's a particular, but we'll answer it.
Wanted, Dead or Alive. Easy.
Which one?
Easy. Wanted, Dead or Alive.
I have to admit, that's my favorite too. And I sang a solo with that, or duo with that, with Ben in New York, even though I've never even heard that song before. So I'm like just following around with words, and so I'm like, this is actually a pretty good song. So I listen to it now. So I probably have to agree. That's a good song.
This song gets me so psyched.
Wait, how does it go? I don't remember.
Do 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 do, and I want it dead or alive. That song.
And
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll put the word for it. I feel bad. I really don't. I never listen to the radio. So
It is probably only played on the radio, and it's the theme to Young Guns, I believe. I think he wrote it for Young Guns, but I could be wrong on that.
I'm sure it's on Spotify. You can look it up.
But yeah.
I can tell it's-
For me, it'd be Runaway. That's definitely
Ooh.
a super jamming, like workout type song, super fast. I'll eventually do it here probably, but it's in Mall Cop. Every song that's in Mall Cop is immediately better than every other song. So I like Runaway.
Jacob and Justin, I gotta know real quickly. Do you guys have a favorite movie that is in IG?
Oh, an IG. Oh, should we say the one that we just watched? It's probably mine. I think it's an IG.
Okay, but
don't
and
actually-
Better be.
outside of Star Wars.
Oh yeah. No.
Just say it for us, man. Yeah.
Sky High.
Oh yeah. Sidekick. I
Thank you.
love that movie.
I'm so
No.
glad you said that.
Justin and I want to start a podcast. You know how you have like all these Star Wars podcasts that go into the canon and the lore? We're gonna do one for Sky High. We're gonna learn about Jetstream, the Commander. We're gonna learn about all of it. We're gonna learn about bus drive, everything.
There's so
Bus
much
driver.
there.
There's so much content.
That's a movie that 100% needs its own TV show. Like, I want it. I want an origin story. I want of the parents, of the school. How did the school happen? Want it all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's an IG. I'm not actually. You would think because it's a
Comic book movie.
it's like
but-
comic book or a superhero movie or whatever, but
Mhm.
otherwise probably like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that. Like the '90s original is a big favorite of ours for sure. I thought the question was just gonna be what's our like favorite movie to get or like that we both love. And this is one of my favorite movies that changed my life that Jacob introduced me to, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, I did.
That's
my claim to fame in our friendship.
That's when I finally was like, all right, I'll actually hang out with this guy. He likes Bill and Ted. Or it
I
should
remember that night we were all sitting there. It's like, guys, I got this movie for us to watch. I can do something cool. I put it on. There's dead silence. And then he says, these are historical babes. Laughter. And I'm just like, sweet, I have friends.
Great line.
I feel
friendship-
bad, so I'm a little jealous. But yeah, friendship was born.
All right. I have another question from Mike Deacon. What type of thing did you spend 6 hours trying to open?
I feel like there's a joke here. Like, I feel like there's a lot that we can do, Kelsey.
I don't even get it. It's just hilarious.
I'll get mine. I have it still right over here. I would this can of cut green beans. I would try and open for. I'd spend 6 hours on this.
Isn't it
Jacob will be like it'll be like the day before he defends the title against an invigorated Alex Damon. He'll be like, Justin, can you help me study one day? I'm like, no, man, sorry, I'm opening this can of beans. Already 3 hours in. I need another 3 hours to get it open. So
Priorities.
Dude, honestly, if you were having trouble opening a can of beans and you couldn't make it to any of my title matches, I'd be okay.
Thank you.
I'd accept it.
In competitors, that's the devotion and vigor that I'll be willing to dedicate to you.
I just like
as well.
beans.
All right. We have a comment real quick from Jeff who says, Sky High is begging for a Disney Plus series. Think superhero Hogwarts series, the money prints itself, damn it.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'll invest in Disney. I don't invest in Disney, but I totally would if that news came out.
And it's got to be like TV 14 or something like that, because like if it was just a little bit more edgy, so many of those kids in that movie would have died. Like it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
The kid just gets frozen on the yard and it's like he's dead. Like,
like I also don't know what it's like. I remember when there was that TV show that was around for a minute. It was pretty much set in the world of superheroes and everything. Only there was like superhero insurance, essentially. So if a superhero knocked a monster into your car, in a regular world, hypothetically, you can't claim that on insurance. But in like the superhero world, you can claim that as part of your insurance. So there's like superhero insurance you have to like buy into, and it's like set on. And the characters are people that work at that insurance company, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Andrew.
But it was around for like 4 years ago, but it was like gone after a season. So,
All right. Got a next question from Cam. I want to know how you two met. How'd you guys?
We actually played on the same like baseball team in like third grade.
what position were you?
Oh gosh, whatever position was of the guy that got injured and had us schlups come in, whatever that position we had to cover.
Yeah.
So right field. They had both of us in right field. We were so bad. They're like, is it all right if we have two people in right field? They're not going to catch it. So, but we want to give them a participation trophy. They're like, all right.
Aww.
I mean,
So-
like, I definitely quit that whole thing, and then like when we were done, me and my cousin, who's also a part of our little friend group going on, we were just like, hey, let's start a band. We're in middle school. Let's start a band, and we started a band. It didn't go.
Start a
anywhere.
band. I don't even remember what that band was called. There's been so many bands since then.
It's just a band.
But music definitely actually is what definitely got us
oh yeah,
friends. And I kid of course about all that Bill and Ted stuff. We were great friends way before then. But yeah, definitely we got going in bands and all that stuff, and that was good. So I love pop punk.
All right. Next question. How did Jacob beat his wife and take it to the altar?
So Jacob beat his wife?
Meet.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Oh, it's
I heard
Very,
different.
very different word.
okay.
Jacob,
so
we have to talk. Like,
The show got dark.
These are where
no,
my hands are.
no. He loves his wife.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my wife is amazing. Best friend, easily. So for me, I met my wife. I met my wife at in college. We both disagree when we first met. She's right, as usual. I visited the college that we were going to, and I met her through a friend. But I was dealing with some serious anxiety and depression at the time, and I was totally exhausted. And I do not remember a single thing from that night. But apparently, we met and we had a really nice conversation. I remember meeting her when I actually went to the college, and I was introduced by a friend. And I liked a different girl at the time that didn't end up working out, and I totally introduced the relationship in the horribly wrong way, and she's still with me, so it's all good. I mean horribly wrong way as in like I was really stupid in how I asked her out. Like she was laughing at me when I asked her out because I asked her how she felt about me. I did not tell her how I feel about her. Big no on her.
Big no.
Yeah, and and then a couple years later, got married, and it's been awesome ever since. We're celebrating our 2-year anniversary actually in a couple weeks. So,
Congratulations!
thank you. So I got now. I'm just gonna guilt trip if I don't get drafted. I'm like, what am I gonna do on my anniversary weekend? It's like,
I mean, I kind of got to do it now.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. How, when, and where did the Juice discover the guitar?
Oh man.
Where'd he go? You're back.
This is not me.
Like, where'd you go?
It might have been me. I was turning down the volume a little bit, and I might have pressed it. I'm sorry. Like I was just pressing a button, but I
like that part of the
like I guess did I hover on the mouse? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, that was my bad. I will claim responsibility for off screen for a second.
You know what it was? So I was helping out with a church group that was going to do like a youth camp, and I was supposed to be part of the band. And I get up there and realize there's no instrument for me to play. Like I was just like brought up as like the guy that's played in tons of bands before. And so I go on this trip and I'm like, wait, well, we actually already have all the instruments covered. There's not really anything for you to do. And I'm like, this is horrible. I need an instrument that nobody plays. An instrument that will significantly make any band better. And so I got home that weekend and immediately purchased this bad boy. And since then, I've never joined a band that was like, oh, sorry, we already have a guitar player. It's not happened. I don't suspect it to happen, but so far so good. So I just wanted to be different, wanted to do something that nobody else does, and so far nobody else does it. So that's I think that's the best answer for that.
Very cool. Very cool. Let me see. Yeah, guitar. I have to admit, guitar is one of those instruments that you don't think about playing, but when you find out someone plays it, you're like instantly way more impressed by them. You're like, I don't know, just like the idea, like strings. You got an entire keyboard. You're having to.
The guitar is definitely more famous than I am, for sure. That's absolute. Doesn't matter who's holding it. It's that's the guitar. We want the guitar. So
perfect.
It's been working well.
Cool. All right. It looks like that's the end of the questions we have. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody, for this night of Call to Action Live. It's been so fun. We've talked about all kinds of things. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jacob, where can people find you?
Oh, well, people can find me. You know, you can. I'm on the Facebook group, obviously. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, just Jacob Whitnaben, and I'm on YouTube actually, and that is actually a tagline of Wit JD, WITT JD. That's where I do all my other content. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was awesome. It really was.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And Justin, where can people find you?
Yeah. Got the YouTube stuff trying to get the Take On Me cover and all that stuff coming out soon. And so random different guitar videos popping up on my channel. Should be just YouTube Justin the Juice or something like that. It shouldn't be too hard to find. And then other than that, like I said before, chill to What the Show tomorrow night with the What the Show podcast. It's a little different so that we can finally get Paul on and finally have him on the show. And so we're doing a little, crossbreed there or whatever. So that, but otherwise we're on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Central Time. That's about it.
Awesome. And Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me being part of the Call to Action Patreon, where I'm issuing a bazillion C2A movie challenges, so definitely coming to ya. I also host a show called Suno Bias, where we really kind of, like you mentioned, we challenge both Video Drew and aka Drew Grant. We really challenge each other to watch movies kind of outside of our comfort zone. I challenged her to watch the movie Spirited Away for the first time. She's never seen any Studio Ghibli movie. So I'm having her start with that one, and then we're going to kind of go from there. So that's going to be coming up on Tuesday. And also, like I mentioned, you can find me on Twitter right there at real_AlexMac.
Cool. All right, and you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me at Miss Quinkins on Instagram. That's my cosplay page. TeePublic, we've got merch. Check it out. We've got some pretty awesome things. Get a mask, wear your mask. And, of course, you can always find me here on Call to Action Live. You can find me on Chill to Action every Sunday or every other Sunday. And then also coming up next week, we will have some extra special shows to be able to showcase some awesome rookies on the draft. So you will see us on Mondays and then also next Sunday as well. So look out for social media on that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you later.
Thank you for having us.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.